What is up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we are diving deep into Polygon, one of my absolutely favorite free-to-play indie shooters available on Steam. And if you're someone who regularly watching my videos, you probably already know about this game by now, but it's an awesome indie first-person shooter with low poly visuals and battlefield-style large-scale battle packed into a very small package. And recently I spent about 25 hours playing the game, and I gathered enough experience to give you a comprehensive look what it's like to play Polygon in 2025. So today we will break down gameplay, mechanics, maps, the community, the monetization, and pretty much everything that you need to know about the game, and ultimately it helps you to decide if it's worth your time. So let's get started. Alright, for those who don't know about Polygon, it's a completely free-to-play multiplayer tactical style first-person shooter, kind of like Battlefield but in a much more smaller scale. And despite the game is released on 2020, it's still on early access on Steam. It's also getting continuous update, new features and support from the developers, which is great to see. But just like any other free-to-play shooter on Steam, the player count is relatively small. Right now it's have about 500 people playing every single day, which is somewhat low but is understandable for a free-to-play shooter like this. But surprisingly it is very consistent throughout the year. When you jump into the game for the first time, the first thing that you notice is that very unique low poly-like art style, which I really like, and also it emphasizes a lot on large-scale team-based combat that will let you play with up to 32 other players online. The game doesn't have a lot of game modes. It's basically have that conquest style mode that is strong focus on capturing points and holding territory, which keep the action intense and engaging, and does work really well with the variety of maps and the map size that they provide. The overall gunplay feels very solid, the weapon feels snappy and satisfying. While Polygon doesn't aim for a hyper-realistic shooter like Arma or Squad, its arcade-style shooting mechanics are very responsive and easy to pick up even if you are a beginner, and headshots are also very rewarding in this game, and some of the weapon does have a recoil system, but you're gonna get used to it very quickly if you're someone who's relatively familiar with first-person shooter mechanics. But movement feels very fluid, slow but tactical compared to a game like Call of Duty or Battlefield, and you also does have the option to lean left and right with Q and A. Right now Polygon doesn't feature a class system like Battlefield, but it does have the option to customize your loadout with different weapons like assault rifles, SMGs, marksman rifles and snipers. Right now the game doesn't have like a huge arsenal of weapons, but it had about 20 weapons which you can unlock just by playing the game and earning the in-game credits. And once you unlock a weapon, you have to get kills and earn XP in order to unlock certain attachments. It can be a bit of a grind and somewhat painful, especially if you are using like a stock sniper rifle, which is really hard to get kills without a scope. But one of the features that is really stand out in Polygon is the variety of maps that the game offers. The maps vary from urban warfare settings to large open fields, and each map feels distinct and offers a diverse combat scenarios. And some maps are a little bit larger, so you can do a lot of long range sniping, and the other urban setting maps are more tight and chaotic, ideal for close range battles. Another pretty cool thing that they add to the game is the day and night cycle for some of these maps, which does work really well and something very rare to see nowadays in a tactical shooter like this. But I can't really say the same for some of the spawn points in the game, and this can lead you to some frustrating moment when you're dropped right into the middle of an enemy fire, or sometimes your team can get spawn traps. So this is definitely an area that could see some improvement. Alright, now we are moving on to the community and the matchmaking. As of 2025, Polygon doesn't really have like a huge player base, but the game does offer you the option to select your games through a server browser, so you can actually see how many servers are available, how much people playing the game, and it always had about 10 servers available for you to jump in. But the game does rely on the player hosted servers, so some of the ping that you see in the server browser is very inconsistent. Sometimes I get like 180, 250 plus ping, but when I actually jump into the game, it only like 75, 100 ping, which is very much playable. So don't rely on the ping number. If you find a server that you like, the game modes that you wanted to play, just jump in. You're definitely going to have a very playable experience in my opinion. But unfortunately as of right now, you cannot make your own servers as a free-to-play player. If you want to make your own servers, own custom games, you have to buy that VIP option, which is kind of like a monthly subscription, I think. So once you have that, you can actually host your own custom servers. You can select different maps, game size, and invite your friends or random people to join. And as long as you have the server running, everybody can enjoy the game. It's definitely something you have to keep in mind. But overall matchmaking feels decent, serviceable but not perfect. And also teams can be unbalanced sometimes, mainly due to the low player count that the game having right now. And also the game does offer you the option to invite some of your friends from your Steam list, but the game heavily rely on the in-game chat because the game doesn't have the voice chat option right now. And of course in-game chat can be a mixed bag. Sometimes people are helpful and most of the time they can be toxic. But honestly it's not going to impact your gameplay, but it's definitely an area where we can see some improvements in the future. Alright, moving on to monetization, and of course being a free-to-play game, Polygon relies a lot on the in-game purchases to generate revenue, but most of the monetization revolve around the cosmetic cosmetics such as weapon skins, character outfits, and these are purely aesthetic and don't really impact the gameplay, which is a big plus. And also typically you will find the battle pass system that kind of offers you rewards for players who want to grind for extra goodies, including both paid and free rewards. Honestly, it is not necessary to enjoy the game. It's a nice option if you want to support the developers. And so far Polygon avoids pretty much everything related to any pay to win mechanics. All weapons and equipment can be unlocked through just by playing the game and earning the in-game credits, which is absolutely the way to go in my opinion. Alright, moving on to some of the performance and the optimization. And of course Polygon's low poly art style isn't just visually unique, it also very lightweight, making the game more accessible for people who having very low to mid-range PCs. And as the minimum system requirement wise, it's only required like an i3 CPU, 4 gigs of RAM, and an Nvidia GTX 460, which is a very old graphic card. And surprisingly, the download size is also very small, only like 1.5 GB. So even if you have like a very slow limited internet connection, honestly it's not going to be that difficult to download this one. Overall, pretty cool stuff. Alright, when we're talking about the current states and the updates, yes, the Polygon has seen consistent updates over the years, and the small developing teams the game have is already addressing a lot of the bugs, some of the long-standing issues like hit registration, sound issues, and also doing a lot of seasonal events like Halloween, winter events, Christmas events. So it getting new updates, new maps, weapons, new features, which is always great to see. And the first time I make a video about Polygon was way back in 2020, and ever since that the game has improved tremendously over the years. And of course it's not going to be a perfect shooter, still there is a lot of room for new improvements, new features, and hopefully more stuff will be added to the game in the upcoming few months. And finally, some of the things that I really like about Polygon: very accessible for anyone who love playing first-person shooter games, because you don't have to pay anything, it's completely free to play. And it's also very lightweight, you don't have to spend time downloading 30 to 40 gigs, it's like 1.5 GB, very accessible. And also great for anyone who love playing casual first-person shooters. Even if you are a beginner, it's a very easy first-person shooter to pick up and play. The game also got pretty solid gunplay, tactical, engaging team-based combat, and also most of the cosmetic monetization stuff ensure there is no pay-to-win element. And also there is a small active player base who play this game every single day, so the matchmaking isn't going to be that much of an issue. Alright, moving on to some of the things that I feel like that they need to improve is some of the balancing issues and the class system. Right now there is nothing much in the game other than the typical Conquer style game mode. I wanted to see more game modes, more features like voice chat, and of course new maps, weapons, and also a little bit of a less grind to unlock some of these attachments. So finally, is Polygon worth playing in 2025? Yes, absolutely. Especially if you are just looking for a fun free-to-play first-person shooter with large-scale battles, with unique aesthetics, it's a perfect game to check out even if you have a very low NPC. While it's not perfect and still has a lot of areas for improvement, I can definitely recommend this game for anyone who love playing first-person shooter games to jump in and have a good time. It's definitely a solid choice on the free-to-play market. So that's pretty much it, guys. And what is your thoughts on Polygon? Have you guys tried it? I'm sure most of you guys already played Polygon by now. Let me know down in the comment section what is your current experience with the game so far. And also, if you enjoyed the content, guys, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned to the channel as we cover pretty much anything related to free-to-play games. I'll catch you guys soon in the next one. Stay safe.